a lot, I predict. And his name is Joseph Mif-under-sud. Mif-under-sud, like you were miffed and then you sued somebody. Mif-under-sud. Okay, that's his name. Good morning, DL Freighter, or DI Freighter. I'll figure that out. Anyway, so Joseph Mif-under-sud, he's kind of the mystery man, and I'm going to guess that most of the people who think they knew everything about this, when this name came up in the Mueller testimony, first of all, most people aren't even paying attention to this shit, because most people don't give a rat's ass about the whole Russia thing. They're tired of hearing about it. They hear the basics that no further people were charged, but the people who are insistent that the Trump campaign colluded, that word that nobody really uses, there's no legal term called collusion. And as we learned in the Mueller testimony, that really, it's kind of been a synonym for conspiracy. So it's a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory. So anyway, there's this Joseph Mif-under-sud, and he's the mystery man. And before I even go to this, I want to watch the back and forth between Ohio Representative Jim Jordan and Robert Mueller, because I think this is significant. It's something that's kind of a part of this, and I'm sure that most people, if you were convinced that Donald Trump is a Russian agent, this is probably something you had no clue as to what was happening here. So let's click that up here. Let me find it. Let's see, Jim Jordan. All right, we're going to go through this testimony first, and then we'll get into more about Joseph Mif-under-sud. Here we go.
Director, the FBI interviewed Joseph Mif-under-sud on February 10th, 2017. In that interview, Mr. Mif-under-sud lied. You point this out on page 193, volume 1. Mif-under-sud denied. Mif-under-sud also falsely stated. In addition, Mif-under-sud omitted. 3 times he lied to the FBI, yet you didn't charge him with the crime.
Excuse me, did you say one? I'm sorry, did you say 193?
Volume 1.
Now, let's just get something straight right off the bat here. If you watched any of this debacle that was the Mueller testimony in front of the joint committees of Congress, you'll know right away that Robert Mueller did not write this report. Okay? If Robert Mueller had been actively involved in the investigation and knew what was in the report, he would have never asked, what page is this on, when they're asking about Joseph Mif-under-sud. He would have known exactly who Jim Jordan was talking about, wouldn't need a page reference, wouldn't need anything. So either he absolutely has no idea what's in his own report, or he's using this as a stall tactic. But anyway, here we go.
193. He lied 3 times. You pointed out in the report. Why didn't you charge him with the crime?
I can't get into internal deliberations with regard who would or would not be
Charge a lot of other people for making false statements. Let's remember this. In 2016, the FBI did something they probably haven't done before. They spied on 2 American citizens associated with a presidential...
I find humor in the fact that Jordan said probably hasn't done before. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Campaign. George Papadopoulos and Carter Page. With Carter Page, they went to the FISA court. They used the now famous dossier as part of the reason they were able to get the warrant and spy on Carter Page for a better part of a year. With Mr. Papadopoulos, they didn't go to the court. They used human sources. All kinds of, from about the moment Papadopoulos joins the Trump campaign, you got all these people all around the world starting to swirl around him.
Now, if you're not familiar with this part of the story, yes. Oh, hey, Pancalo, how you doing, man? Glad you're here. Hey, if you don't know this part of the story, that's what happened. So as soon as George Papadopoulos joined the Trump campaign, now Papadopoulos had, he had foreign business dealing in Turkey and I think in Greece. Just he was traveling back and forth to Europe. As soon as he became an advisor to the campaign, all of a sudden, all these people started contacting him. Just out of the blue, all of a sudden, there's people wanting to talk to Papadopoulos. And so that's what Jordan's referencing here. And one of those people was this professor from Malta, Maltese professor, Joseph Mif-under-sud. So that's what Jordan's talking about. Here we go.
Names like Halper, Downer, Mif-under-sud, Thompson, meeting in Rome, London, all kinds of places. The FBI even sent a lady posing as somebody else, went by the name Azra Turk, even dispatched her to London to spy on Mr. Papadopoulos. In one of these meetings, Mr. Papadopoulos is talking to a foreign diplomat, and
that would be Andrew Downer, the foreign, it might have been the ambassador to Australia, just in case you're wondering.
He tells the diplomat, Russians have dirt on Clinton. That diplomat then contacts the FBI.
Sort of. We'll get into that later.
And the FBI opens an investigation based on that fact. You point this out on page 1 of the report. July 31st, 2016, they open the investigation based on that piece of information. Diplomat tells Papadopoulos, Papadopoulos tells the diplomat, Russians have dirt on Clinton. Diplomat tells the FBI. What I'm wondering is, who told Papadopoulos? How'd he find out?
I can't get into the evidentiary fight.
Oh, wait a minute. And that again. Here we are, because Jordan's gonna point it out immediately. Mueller, who did not write the report, didn't realize that the answer is in the report that he did not write, that has his name on it. He has no idea what's in the report. This is crazy.
What about it? You gave us the answer. Page 192 of the report, you tell us who told him. Joseph Mif-under-sud.
It's in the report. Sir, it's in the report. All right. Keep it moving on.
Joseph Mif-under-sud's the guy who told Papadopoulos. The mysterious professor who lives in Rome and London, teaches in 2 different...
Look at Mueller right now, pursing his lips. Like, oh shit, I should have known that. Good morning, Jason Burns. What's up, brother? Mueller's pursing his lips, going.
This is the guy who told Papadopoulos. He's the guy who starts it all. And when the FBI interviews him, he lies 3 times, and yet you don't charge him with a crime.
And how do we know he lied 3 times? Because that's in the report too. But Mueller doesn't know that. Mueller has no idea.
You charge Rick Gates for false statements. You charge Paul Manafort for false statements. You charge Michael Cohen with false statements. You charge Michael Flynn, a 3-star general, with false statements. But the guy who puts the country through this whole saga, starts it all for 3 years we've lived this now, he lies, and you guys don't charge him. And I'm curious as to why.
Well, we can't get into it, and it's obvious, I think, that we can't get into charging decisions.
Okay, now, there's another reason they can't get into it. And he says it later, but because this is being investigated right now. And so I'm assuming that the Attorney General, Bill Barr, said, you know what, we can't tip our hand on any of these other investigations. But let's just put it this way. They've interviewed Joseph Mif-under-sud. Just saying.
FBI interviewed him in February. FBI interviews him in February. When the special counsel's office interviewed Mif-under-sud, did he lie to you guys too?
Can't get into that.
Did you interview Mif-under-sud?
Can't get into that.
Oh, wait a minute. Why can't he get into the question of whether they interviewed Mif-under-sud? It's in the report. Hello, Necrosol. Good morning. It's in the report. Hey, Richo. Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you. It's in the report. There's no reason he can't answer that question. I can't get into it. Did you interview Mif-under-sud? I can't get into that. It's in the report. Come on, man.
Is Mif-under-sud Western intelligence or Russian intelligence?
Now, that's a very important question, too. Because what they did in the report is they Now, I don't know if they said it. Now I can't remember because I haven't read it in a while. They either implied or said directly. They implied. They implied that Mif-under-sud was a Russian agent because Papadopoulos never spoke to anyone Russian. That's very clear. And yet, they say he got this information from the Russians. And the implication is that Joseph Mif-under-sud is somehow an agent or intermediary for the Russians. We'll get into that, too.
Can't get into that.
Oh, but he can't get into that.
Get into. What's interesting, you can charge 13 Russians no one's ever heard of, no one's ever seen, no one's ever going to hear of them, no one's ever going to see them. You can charge them. You can charge all kinds of people who are around the president with false statements. But the guy who launches the guy who puts this whole story in motion, you can't charge him.
Who, within the report even says Mif-under-sud lied to them 3 times. So why didn't they charge Mif-under-sud with lying? Why are they protecting Mif-under-sud?
I think that's amazing.
I'm not certain I agree with your characterizations.
Well,
Now that's fascinating too. I'm not sure I agree with your characterizations. It's in the report, and they haven't charged Mif-under-sud. He doesn't know what's in his own report, and therefore he was not involved in writing it. He didn't review it, and that's the reason when he made the summary, when he had the press conference a few weeks ago, after the judge in the case, one of the cases of the troll farms, told him that he could no longer say that they were connected to the Russian government as a fact because they haven't shown any evidence, nor have they been to any kind of trial. So he had to come out the next day and hold this emergency press conference to walk that part back. Good morning, Blind Press. How are you doing, my dear? He had to have that press conference so he could reword what he had been saying all this time. He didn't write that statement either, and he said he wouldn't be taking any questions because he didn't know the answers to any questions because he didn't read the report. He wasn't involved in writing the report. He didn't even hardly read the report. And that's why he has during all this question, he doesn't really know what's in the report.
I'm reading from your report. Mif-under-sud told Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos tells the diplomat.
Yeah, listen to that again. What he says. When he says, I don't agree with that characterization. It's in the report.
Charge all kinds of people who are around the president with false statements. But the guy who launches the guy who puts this whole story in motion, you can't charge him. I think that's amazing.
I'm not certain I agree with your characterizations.
Well, I'm reading from your report.
It's in the
told
report.
Papadopoulos tells the diplomat tells the FBI opens the investigation July 31st, 2016, and here we are 3 years later, July of 2019, the country's been put through this, and the central figure who launches it all lies to us, and you guys don't hunt him down and interview him again, and you don't charge him with a crime. Now, here's the good news.
Now, the reason he doesn't... He doesn't know that they didn't. He doesn't even know that they didn't interview him again. He doesn't know. He just doesn't. Okay, so he's leading this. He's leading this investigation. But is he leading the investigation? Did they just put him up there as a figurehead and let Andrew Weissman run the whole show with all the other attorneys? It's confounding.
Here's the good news. The president was falsely accused of conspiracy. The FBI does a 10-month investigation, and James Comey, when we deposed him a year ago, told us at that point they had nothing. You do a 22-month investigation. At the end of that 22 months, you find no conspiracy. And what's the Democrats want to do? They want to keep investigating. They want to keep going. Maybe a better course of action is to figure out how the false accusation started. Maybe it's to go back and actually figure out why Joseph Mif-under-sud was lying to the FBI. And here's the good news. That's exactly what Bill Barr's doing. And thank goodness for that. That's exactly what the Attorney General and John Durham are doing. They're going to find out why we went through this three-year saga and get to the bottom of it.
Time of the gentleman is
All right, so that's so you get a little background on Mif-under-sud there. Good morning, Longfish. How you doing? Thank you for coming again. We're glad you're back. So let's get into a little bit more about Mif-under-sud today, because we'll get some details. Maybe you knew some of this, maybe you didn't. It may be overkill, but we're gonna go through it anyway. So let's see here. Hang on. So someone named Lee Smith wrote an article about 7 mysterious attempts to infiltrate and trap the Trump campaign associates. The first part of this whole thing, at least with Papadopoulos, is this Joseph Mif-under-sud. So here, hang on. Let me put this article up here. And the first approach, okay, this is from this Lee Smith article, but I pulled this off the Ace of Spades blog. The first approach appears to have occurred on April 24, 2016. Over breakfast in a London hotel, a Maltese academic named Joseph Mif-under-sud allegedly told George Papadopoulos, a volunteer advisor with the Trump campaign, that the Russians had dirt on Hillary Clinton. According to the Mueller team's charges against Papadopoulos, the information potentially damaging to Clinton was in the form of thousands of emails. As RCI previously reported, Mif-under-sud denies having said anything about emails. It's not clear what information regarding Clinton emails or Russia he may have mentioned to Papadopoulos. According to the same indictment, Mif-under-sud was believed to have substantial connections. Now, this is a quote, and again, this is the part. This is the part where they say, "Oh, Papadopoulos had some, had connection to the Russians." Good morning, Seamus Derby. According to the same indictment, Mif-under-sud was believed to have substantial connection to Russian government officials. However, as RCI previously reported, the bulk of Mif-under-sud's network consisted of Western, mostly British and Italian intelligence officials, diplomats, and politicians, including Boris Johnson. That's an aside of mine because there's pictures of Mif-under-sud with Boris Johnson. Papadopoulos never mentioned Clinton emails to anyone in the campaign, but over a drink at a London bar. So this Mif-under-sud guy somehow ends up talking to Papadopoulos, and I don't know why the contact was made, but he tells Papadopoulos that he has that the Russians have information, and somewhere along the line it said something to do with emails. Of course, that's when WikiLeaks was talking about how they were going to be putting all this stuff out. WikiLeaks told everyone what they're going to do. It's like, people knew what WikiLeaks was going to do because WikiLeaks told you constantly that we have stuff we're going to put out. But I digress. So Mif-under-sud tells Papadopoulos this information. Now, Mif-under-sud, and Papadopoulos says, I don't even know why this guy contacted me, but he did. And it was just after Papadopoulos became a part of the Trump campaign. Then, in a bar, Papadopoulos is drinking at a bar, just happens to be drinking with a former high-ranking, Andrew Downer. Australia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, over a drink in a London bar. He told Alexander Downer that the Russians had some potentially damaging information on Clinton. The information he heard from Joseph Mif-under-sud. Downer, according to an interview in the Australian press, had asked for the meeting with the then 28-year-old Trump aide. Why? Like Mif-under-sud, Downer was an associate of several former high-ranking British intelligence officials. British intelligence officials. Now, who else is a British intelligence official? Christopher Steele. Oh, yeah. Remember him? Anyway, Downer also had long ties to the Clinton Foundation. Imagine that. Once arranging for Australia to donate $25 million to its AIDS prevention and education efforts. Downer was the second approach made to the Trump campaign. Congressional investigators believe that Downer may have been assigned to collect whatever damaging information that the Maltese academic deposited with Papadopoulos. Shortly after the meeting, Downer contacted the U.S. Embassy in London to report his conversations with an American citizen. Now, this is curious too. Why? Why? I mean, why would he report this? It seems like, oh yeah, they're drinking in a bar, getting whatever, and Papadopoulos is telling him some rumor, and then Downer contacts the U.S. Embassy? Anyone know why? I just, what a coincidence. Contacts the U.S. Embassy in London to report his conversation with an American citizen. This was unusual, as Australia's former foreign minister, a post charged with overseeing the country's foreign intelligence service, Downer knew that such information must be shared through official intelligence channels. But remember when I said he didn't share it with the FBI? He didn't share it with the FBI. The person he instead chose to share this information with was Elizabeth Dibble, the U.S. Embassy's deputy chief of mission, who had previously served under Hillary Clinton as the principal deputy assistant secretary of state. Wow. Another coincidence. It is unclear whether Dibble passed the information directly to the DOJ or to her superiors at the State Department. In any case, nearly 2 months passed before the FBI launched its full investigation into Trump-Russia ties, and another 18 months would pass before it was leaked to the New York Times. Oh, it was leaked? Imagine that. That decision was a response to the Downer tip. The reason for the 2-month delay are not clear. Dibble did not respond to a request for comment, nor did DOJ spokespersons. So, that's an amazing, just series of coincidences. Downer, connection to the Clinton Foundation. Dibble, connection to the Clinton Foundation. And then Joseph Mif-under-sud. Now, he's still a bit of a mystery here. The report says he may have substantial connections to Russian government officials. But that may or may not be the case. So we move on from that. Now, this is interesting too, because the Democratic, back in December, I believe, the Democratic Congressional Campaign, the DNC decided that they were going to sue a whole bunch of people. This is funny because this case got thrown out almost immediately. But the DNC attempted to sue a bunch of people for whatever they were trying to sue them for whatever their, disclosing their secrets and getting people fired, I guess. So here's what happens. They include Joseph Mif-under-sud in this suit, which is fascinating. But I don't remember. This is from here. Let me find it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to put this up on the screen here. Here we go. Professor who discussed Clinton dirt with Papadopoulos may be dead, says the DNC. You gotta be kidding me. So this was an article from December. Joseph Mif-under-sud September. Joseph Mif-under-sud, an elusive professor considering a missing link between President Trump's election campaign and Russia. may have died during the course of being sought in connection with Moscow's alleged meddling in the 2016 race, attorneys for the Democratic National Committee claimed Friday. One of the more than a dozen defendants named in a lawsuit filed by the DNC in April, Mr. Mif-under-sud is missing and may be deceased, attorneys for the committee wrote in a status report filed in a Manhattan federal court. Now, we know actually that Joseph Mif-under-sud is not deceased and in fact is being interviewed. Well, I'll tell you that in a minute. He's being interviewed by the new special counsel, what's his name? John Durham? Anyway, but in December, the DNC said they were unable to serve him. The DNC's counsel has attempted to serve Mif-under-sud for months and has been unable to contact or locate or contact him, added DNC spokesman Adrian Watson. In addition, public reports have said he has disappeared and hasn't been seen for months, she said in a statement sent to The Hill following Friday's filing. And then they go into Russia's state-sponsored hackers breached the DNC computer network, which we can almost, you know what? I can't guarantee is false, but I it's very unlikely that happened. There's too many people out there who've looked at the code and said, nope, nobody did this. Well, okay, hackers. The whole hacker story is bullshit too. Was he very sad? Yeah, they were hoping he was sad. That's the other thing. So the DNC is saying this Mif-under-sud might be dead. Mif-under-sud was in hiding, basically. But I'm afraid maybe they were trying to make sure that he was trying to make sure that he didn't get sad, Pincalo, to answer your question. Good morning, Check Your Logic. How you doing? So anyway, so the DNC was claiming that that Mif-under-sud might be dead. Well, we know that Mif-under-sud was not dead because the Mueller team did get a chance to be interviewed by the Mueller team. But as we learned from Jim Jordan's testimony, Mueller claimed Joseph Mif-under-sud lied to the FBI about Papadopoulos' contacts, but we know he wasn't charged. This is from the Daily Caller back in April. The special counsel's report alleges Joseph Mif-under-sud made false statements to the FBI regarding his interactions with George Papadopoulos. He was reported to have lived for months at an apartment owned by Link's campus. Now, if you've been watching the show for a while, you know that we talked about this a while back. We found all this information. It's funny because all this stuff is public record, but just some people just don't want to read it, don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear about this guy. This is the guy, this is the guy I think who's going to bring this whole thing down. And this is my opinion, just from all the stuff I'm reading about him. Two reports published Thursday, and again, this is from April. Published Thursday add to the mystery of Joseph Mif-under-sud, a Maltese professor at the heart of the Russia probe. Special counsel Robert Mueller alleges in his report on the Russia investigation that Mif-under-sud lied to the FBI about the timeline of his contacts with George Papadopoulos, the Trump campaign advisor whom FBI claims was the catalyst for the Bureau's collusion investigation. Also on Thursday, an Italian newspaper revealed that after Mif-under-sud was first linked to Papadopoulos, he allegedly went into hiding for months. He was not dead. Living at a Rome apartment owned by Link International, the company controls Link Campus, a university in Rome that partners closely with Western intelligence. Oh, my! They partner with what? They partner closely with Western intelligence. Now, why would Joseph Mif-under-sud be in an apartment owned by a company that partners closely with Western intelligence? The developments raise several questions about Mif-under-sud, including whether he is more closely affiliated with Russia or with the West. It is not clear why Mif-under-sud was not charged in the Mueller probe. Yeah, it says right in black and white in the report that he lied to the investigators 3 times. And he didn't get charged. Like Jim Jordan said, They charged all kinds of people with little process crimes, but they didn't charge Mif-under-sud. Again, just weird coincidences. The report does not discuss whether charges were considered against the Maltese mystery man, but his treatment is in contrast with how the Mueller team handled Papadopoulos. The former Trump aide pleaded guilty in October to making false statements to the FBI about Mif-under-sud during an interview January 27, 2017. Papadopoulos was charged to a whopping 14 days in prison in the case. Mif-under-sud and Papadopoulos first met on March 14, 2016 at Link campus, days after Papadopoulos found out he would be joining the Trump team. Papadopoulos worked at the time at the London Center for International Law Practice, a London-based think tank. He said in his new book, Deep State Target, that LCILP executives were eager to introduce him to Mif-under-sud, who also worked for LMNOP. So anyway, and then also, just out of the blue, that excitement has since fostered suspicion in Papadopoulos, who was a target during his campaign stint by at least one known FBI informant, Stephen Halper. That's another name that you probably hear more of. And then, so anyway, they talk about his book here. So there, just all the coincidences with Joseph Mif-under-sud. It's just fascinating. It's so fascinating. Now, but wait, there's more. But before we do that, let's do a little shilling. Since Sarah put the link in the chat. The Morning Night Live is obviously brought to you by you guys, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Down here, there's a share button. Please share it out. The link to here. My Twitter link went out. I can't remember what I did with it. So if someone wants to put the Twitter link in the chat, that'd be great too. Also, you can just hit the share button and share it out on other social media. What are they put on there? Reddit and Tumblr and Facebook or whatever. And then also that helps me more, because now, if you know how YouTube's working anymore, YouTube doesn't even recommend people's videos anymore. So it used to be, if you hit like, the like would automatically put it to whatever social media you wanted to go to. It would automatically go to Twitter or whatever. But, small channels like mine, it's got to be word of mouth. So, hey, that's fine. I don't expect, YouTube to do my job for me. But if y'all can help me out, that'd be great. Share what we do here. And then also, if you want to do super chats, I don't do them through YouTube. In the link down below, there is a link to the Streamlabs link where we do donations and super chats, which I will read over the air if you put them up there. So thank you so much. All right, moving on. Now, let's see here. Where is it here? Oh, okay. So a little bit. This is kind of more about George Papadopoulos than necessarily Mif-under-sud, but there is a couple lines in here that are Mif-under-sud related. DOJ's Russia probe review is focusing on smoking gun tapes of meeting with Trump aide, according to sources. Now, this is just from a few days ago. The Justice Department internal review of the Russia investigation is zeroing in on transcripts of recordings made by at least one government source who met with former Trump campaign aide George Papadopoulos. I clicked that there. Overseas in 2016, specifically looking at why certain exculpatory material from them was not presented in subsequent applications for surveillance warrants, according to two sources familiar with the review. So what they did, they have some tapes that apparently have information on them that would have maybe just made a difference as far as them surveilling George Papadopoulos and Carter Page for that matter. But in this case, Papadopoulos, they had some tapes, some transcripts from one of the conversations. So somebody, one of those people that Papadopoulos met with, recorded the interactions. Okay. And they have a transcript of those interactions that the Justice Department wants to know now. Okay, well, there's something in this particular interaction that probably would have caused the FISA warrant to be rejected, but they didn't present it. And so, especially the subsequent FISA warrant applications. So, anyway, the sources also said the review is taking a closer look at the actual start date of the original FBI investigation and potential collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. As some allege, the probe began earlier than thought. Both components are considered key in the review currently being led by Attorney General Bill Barr and U.S. Attorney from Connecticut John Durham, an effort sure to draw more attention in the coming weeks and months now that Robert Mueller's testimony is in the rear view. Now, a lot of those questions that you were expecting to be answered that were not answered by Robert Mueller during this joint session of committees, John Durham and Bill Barr are looking into them right now. The recordings in question pertain to conversations between government sources and Papadopoulos, which were memorialized in transcripts. They have transcripts of the damn interactions, meaning someone's wearing a recorder or a wire or something. There's transcripts of them. So they've been targeting Papadopoulos. Somebody was doing an investigation because supposedly this was supposed to have started, or at least got them permission or a warrant to do this, but somehow they have transcripts of those. One source told Fox News that Barr and Durham are reviewing why the material was left out of the applications to surveil another former Trump campaign aide, Carter Page. I think it's a smoking gun, the source says. These recordings have exculpatory evidence. The other source added, it is standard tradecraft to record conversations with someone like Papadopoulos, especially when they are overseas and there are no restrictions. Prior to the 2016 election, Papadopoulos met with Maltese professor Joseph Mif-under-sud in London, who told him that the Russians had dirt in the form of emails that could damage Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Papadopoulos then told the Australian diplomat Andrew Downer of the New Information. Downer reported Papadopoulos' comments to him. Again, they say to the FBI, but actually it was, what's her name? Anyway, the chick from the State Department. I don't know why I called her a chick. The woman, the person, the Hillary Clinton crony. But Papadopoulos did not only meet with Mif-under-sud and Downer while overseas. He met with Cambridge professor and longtime FBI informant Stefan Halper and his female associate who went under the alias Azra Turk. Papadopoulos told Fox News that he saw Turk 3 times in London, once over drinks, once over dinner, and once with Halper. He also told Fox News back in May that he always suspected he was being recorded. Further, he tweeted during the Mueller testimony about recordings of his meetings with Downer. It is unclear at this point which of these individuals may have recorded the conversation with Papadopoulos. And so there's his tweet. The heat is now on the Clinton errand boy and wannabe spy Alexander Downer. The world will love to see the secret recordings of my meeting, quote unquote, with him. Scare quotes. They will be out as soon as Mif-under-sud provides his deposition to Durham. Glorious. And actually, that's the other thing. So let's see if this is in here. Where did I have this? Anyway, so Trump is declassifying a lot of this stuff too. So again, but the name Joseph Mif-under-sud, I got a feeling you're going to be hearing that name a lot. I know this is overkill, but I'm going to keep going because you're going to hear that name a lot. I should have some funk playing in the background. I haven't even tested that if I can do that yet. Is this stream pretty smooth? I haven't really checked. It seems to be going pretty smooth. I got a nice I got my upload speed's about 40 megs, so we upgraded our internet just for this. So maybe, we're doing okay. All right. Let's see. Just out of curiosity. So the warrant was based off of what he said, she said, he said. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. That's how the warrant got started. And the not only that, But then they also used the Steele dossier, which was, quote, salacious and unverified, according to James Comey. So that's what they're trying to figure out. What did they use to start this investigation? It's insane. And I still have people. Of course, not everyone has followed this as close as some of us. But I still get people who constantly say, well, Trump's a Russian agent. Trump and the Russians stole the election. Well, first of all, they don't even know. I'm just telling you, they have no idea that anything the Russians supposedly did affected anything, because the crap ads that they put in the, on Facebook, the $40,000 worth of ads that made it before the election were stupid as hell. Nobody paid attention to that shit. That's just BS. Anyway, all right. So I'm almost done with the Papadopoulos, and then we're going to move on. What was the next thing? Oh, actually, let's see. Is that right? Okay, hang on. The one other thing. What was it about? So apparently, Mif-sud's attorney has now contacted the Justice Department, and basically the Mif-sud's attorney has said, you know what, we're going to give you whatever you want. I think they've threatened to charge Mif-sud with something, but Mif-sud's about to come completely clean. And also that the attorney for the Justice Department has implied that Mif-sud, or excuse me, not attorney for the Justice Department, the attorney for Mif-sud has implied that Mif-sud actually does have some connections to Western intelligence and not the Russians. Let me see if I can find that, because I had it. Maybe I did not. Okay, I thought I had this set up here, but I don't. I must have accidentally closed it. So anyway, Joseph Mif-sud, M-I-F as in Frank, S-U-D. Learn that name, know it, internalize it, make it part of your daily routine, because you're going to hear that name over and over and over pretty soon. I guarantee it. All right, now let's move on a little bit here, because we're going to get away. This is related to all this, but not exactly. Oh no, did I just close the one I wanted to open? Hang on, I blew it. Let me fix this real quick. Back in base. It was in here somewhere. So right now, there are people who are having a conniption. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you're familiar with, what's his name? Joe DiGenova? Anyway, the FISA documents are going to be declassified on Wednesday, July 31st. That would be tomorrow. This tracks with John Solomon's reporting that the documents will be released this week, but it could be that they both have the same source, and that same source is wrong. But anyway, a little tease. DiGenova states confidently that U.S. Attorney John Durham is not conducting a review, but is conducting a full criminal investigation with a grand jury impaneled and currently receiving testimony from witnesses. Uh-oh. That can't be good. That can't be good for some people. And then also, John Trump's new pick to lead the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is what that stands for. John Radcliffe caught the White House's attention as a vocal critic of the Russia probe. But Ratcliffe has also worked closely with the man who's been on a 15-year campaign to expose Russian corruption, Bill Browder. Huh. Trump's intel pick collaborated with a fierce Russian foe. So now the people are bitching about this because who is it that's stepping down? I can't remember the name of the guy stepping down. Dan Coates. Dan Coates is leads the office of the director of the director of national intelligence. He's the director of national intelligence, and Dan Coates is stepping down, and John Ratcliffe was one of the people who questioned Mueller, and I will show you that one in a second here. But and people are just up in arms. They are not happy about this. But apparently he worked on a big campaign to expose Russian corruption. So he has some experience. And I didn't even open the political thing. First of all, let's see. Fusion Natasha, infamous for peddling leaks from Fusion's GPS, neglects to mention that Fusion GPS was paid handsomely to attack Browder and Majinsky Act sanctions. And who directed Fusion's work? Natalia Veselnitskaya of the infamous Trump Tower meeting. I did not know that. That's something from Sean Davis. I think he writes for The Federalist, I think. But that's not the one I wanted. Let's see. All right, we already talked about the smoking gun. Charlie Sykes, the coup is dead. Oh, here. Okay. Oh, so anyway, so these guys are attacking John Radcliffe, and let's look at Radcliffe real quick because he had a pretty good. He had an interesting exchange with Robert Mueller also. So we'll watch this real quick. Oops.
In your May 29th press...
Let's start that again.
Good afternoon, Director Mueller. In your May 29th press conference, and again in your opening remarks this morning, you made it pretty clear you wanted the special counsel report to speak for itself. You said at your press conference that that was the office's final position, and we will not comment on any other conclusions or hypotheticals about the president. Now, you spent the last few hours of your life from Democrats trying to get you to answer all kinds of hypotheticals about the president, and I expect that it may continue for the next few hours of your life. I think you've stayed pretty much true to what your intent and desire was, but I guess regardless of that, the special counsel's office is closed and it has no continuing jurisdiction or authority. So what would be your authority or jurisdiction for adding new conclusions or determinations to the special counsel's written report?
As to the latter, I don't know or expect changes in conclusions that we included in our report.
So to that point, you addressed one of the issues that I needed to, which was from your testimony this morning, which some construed as a change to the written report. You talked about the exchange that you had with Congressman Liu. I wrote it down a little bit different. I want to ask you about it so that the record's perfectly clear. I recorded that he asked you, quote, the reason you did not indict Donald Trump is because of the OLC opinion stating you cannot indict a sitting president, to which you responded.
Hang on. You're not hearing the audio of this? Can you hear the audio of this?
That is correct. That response is inconsistent. I think you'll agree with your written report. I want to be clear that it is not your intent to change your written report. It is your intent to clarify the record to that.
As I started this afternoon, and...
Oh, now here, real quick. I just noticed this in my earphones. I am only getting the left channel on this. I don't know why. So maybe, Pancalo, you might only have a right channel playing. You can hear me breathing. No, so yeah, I just noticed I'm only getting the left channel. So maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
Added
Here, tell you what. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this one that's a different one. That might be why. Let's try.
Good morning, Director. If you'll
that
let
should
me
be better.
quickly summarize, we obtained about the President's actions and make what you called a traditional prosecution or declaration. The special counsel did not make a conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. And then in Volume 2, for reasons that you explained, the special counsel did not make a determination on whether there was an obstruction of justice crime committed by the President. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, in explaining that special counsel did not make what you called a traditional prosecution or declination decision, the report on the bottom of page 2 of Volume 2 reads as follows. The evidence we obtained about the President's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. Accordingly, while this report does not conclude that the President committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Now, I read that correctly?
Now, this point is so important in this. Now, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because this is why the Democrats are mad at John Ratcliffe. And also pundits are mad at him, and we'll get into that in a second. But this line of questioning is so important because it goes to the entire second half of the Mueller report, where he finishes by saying that we did not charge him, but we did not exonerate him, which is absolutely turning the law, our entire judicial system upside down by that statement. So listen to this very carefully.
All right. Now, your report, and today you said at all times the special counsel team operated under, was guided by, and followed Justice Department policies and principles. So which DOJ policy or principle sets forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined?
There isn't one.
Can you repeat the last part of that
Oh,
question?
come on. Stop asking. Can you repeat that? It's a very clear question. It is a very clear question. And I can't even remember if he answered this or not.
Which DOJ policy or principle set forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined? Where does that language come from, Director? Where is the DOJ policy that says that? Let me make it easier.
Go ahead.
Can you give me an example other than Donald Trump where the Justice Department determined that an investigated person was not exonerated because their innocence was not conclusively determined?
I cannot, but this is a unique situation.
Well,
Unique how? No matter anyone in the planet, the standard is innocent until proven guilty. Now, if you haven't been charged, there's nothing to exonerate you from. There is nothing to exonerate you from.
Time is short. I've got 5 minutes. Let's just leave it at you can't find it, because I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or that the special counsel report should determine whether or not to exonerate him. It's not in any of the documents. It's not in your appointment order. It's not in the special counsel regulations. It's not in the OLC opinions. It's not in the Justice Manual, and it's not in the principles of federal prosecution. Nowhere do those words appear together because respectfully, Director, it was not the special counsel's job to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or to exonerate him, because the bedrock principle of our justice system is a presumption of innocence. It exists for everyone. Everyone is entitled to it, including sitting presidents. And because there is a presumption of innocence, prosecutors never, ever need to conclusively determine it. Now, Director, the special counsel applied this inverted burden of proof that I can't find and you said doesn't exist anywhere in the department policies, and you used it to write a report. And the very first line of your report, says, and as you read this morning, it authorizes the special counsel to provide the Attorney General with a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by the special counsel. That's the very first word of your report, right?
That's correct.
He knew an answer. He didn't have to look at it. Sorry. I'll keep going.
The special counsel didn't do that. On Volume 1, you did. On Volume 2, with respect to potential obstruction of justice, the special counsel made neither a prosecution decision or a declination decision. You made no decision. You told us this morning and in your report that you made no determination. So respectfully, Director, you didn't follow the special counsel regulations. It clearly says, write a confidential report about decisions reached. Nowhere in here does it say, write a report about decisions that weren't reached. You wrote 180 pages. 180 pages about decisions that weren't reached, about potential crimes that weren't charged or decided. And respectfully, by doing that, you managed to violate every principle and the most sacred of traditions about prosecutors not offering extra prosecutorial analysis about potential crimes that aren't charged. So Americans need to know this as they listen to the Democrats and socialists on the other side of the aisle, as they do dramatic readings from this report, that volume 2 of this report was not authorized under the law to be written. It was written to a legal standard that does not exist at the Justice Department. And it was written in violation of every DOJ principle about extra prosecutorial commentary. I agree with the chairman this morning when he said Donald Trump is not above the law. He's not. But he damn sure shouldn't be below the law, which is where volume 2 of this report puts him.
All right, so that was John Radcliffe, and so so let's just say that the congressman from Texas is not pleasing some of those who want to see Trump impeached, and so now the deep state, according to Ace, has activated to attack John Radcliffe. The main thrust of the coordinated freakout that Radcliffe challenged the deep state operatives and Fusion GPS assets who attempted a coup against Trump, and that he might expose these operators and take their fake resistance jobs away from them. They're horrified at his questioning of Mueller. How dare he question a figurehead fronting the coup effort? So here's Fusion Ken, for example. John Radcliffe, by one measure, the second most conservative member of Congress, appears to believe that the Russia investigation was cooked up by Democrats who committed crimes. Now Trump reportedly is considering placing atop the U.S. intelligence community. So apparently, okay, so what's this? Fusion GPS got his talking points. Let's see what that means. Oh, looks like talking points have been distributed. Here it is. Elizabeth Warren. From day one, Trump has made his disdain for the intelligence community clear. Our director of national intelligence should be above partisan politics, speak truth to power, and resist Trump's abuses of authority. John Radcliffe doesn't fit that bill. For some reason, they are all praising Dan Coates now. Who else said something? Oh, Mark Warner. The mission of the intelligence community is to speak truth to power. As DNI, Dan Coates stayed true to that mission. Thank you for your service, Director Coates. Oh, really? Well, let's see. Oh, Richard Haas. Sorry to learn the DNI is stepping down. Dan Coates was willing to speak truth to power and tell his POTUS what he needed to hear, even if he didn't want to hear it. Essential his successor be no less independent, committed to the institution of the ODNI. And who else? Let's see. Anyone else got the same talking point? Oh, CNN. Oh, no, this is Sean Turner. Coates has done a phenomenal job as Director of National Intelligence. CNN National Security Analyst Sean Turner says Dan Coates spoke truth to power, oftentimes putting him at odds with the president. Wow, it's funny that they all have the exact same talking points. Fantastic. Anyway, let's see. Radcliffe claimed Mueller, and this is John Seifert, Radcliffe claimed Mueller had too many Democrats on his staff. Does he plan to find out the affiliations of those working for him at the DNI? If so, it's going to get ugly. Interesting comment there. This was someone saying, I refer back to Radcliffe's comments to Fox News today as a good indicator of where he's coming from on the Mueller investigation and its origins. This was hours before Trump announced him as coach replacements, and they're going to a Washington Examiner article. I won't even go with that. Also, let's see. I heard Radcliffe say the Mueller report was authored by Hillary Clinton's defense team. It kind of was. Was it? Weissman was a lawyer for the Clinton Foundation. So it kind of was. This kind of idiotic conspiracy theory nonsense disqualifies him to be director of national intelligence. He lacks the requisite intel, experience, judgment, and allegiance to the truth. Really? Wait, idiotic conspiracy theory nonsense? You mean like the whole freaking Russian investigation? Glenn Kirshner, I was at Fed for 30 years. When the FBI and U.S. Attorney's offices open an investigation, it's a non-political act. If every investigation gets investigated when a new party takes power, our law enforcement practices will break down. Reason 742 to impeach this criminal president. Oh, bite me. If they are acting in bad faith and breaking the law, you investigate them and put them in jail. John Durham's done it before for people on both with both types of affiliations. Seth Abrahamson. Note that Trump stooge Radcliffe is coming aboard as ODNI and exactly at the moment the Democrats are bidding their fight to access the FBI counterintelligence report detailing how Trump colluded with multiple foreign governments. Oh, now he's colluded with multiple foreign governments? Based on what? Hey, Jaeger Pony, how you doing? Hi, Marsupial Gamer. I just noticed you guys are in the chat. Hello. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, they are just off the rails. That somebody that's not necessarily part of the swamp decides to jump in the pool. The Democratic Coalition. Dereliction of duty, with Radcliffe's claim that the Mueller report was written by Hillary Clinton's de facto legal team. They were. Sorry, the secret's out. It appears that Trump has found a director of national intelligence as skeptical of the Russian threat as he. I was going to use a colloquial. How do you fuck say that word? The colloquial phrase that the brothers would use when in the company of other brothers, but I'm not going to. It starts with really. And then Joe Scarborough. Oh my God, Joe Scarborough is off the rails. Does it worry Republican senators that Trump just nominated a congressman who delivered one of the most intellectually dishonest or downright stupid performances in the Mueller hearings? It should. And then John Brennan, good old John Brennan. Dan Coates served ably with deep integrity. Radcliffe showed abject subservience to Trump in the Mueller hearings. The women and men in the intelligence community deserve a leader like Coates who put nation first, not a servile Trump loyalist like Radcliffe. Oh. But Molly Hemingway to the rescue. Brennan, one of the central figures of the Russia collusion hoax, both when he worked for Obama and as an anti-Trump pundit, is harshly criticizing Radcliffe for his skepticism of the same. Anyway, all right. And then let's see. What was the last one I had here? Oh. And then this one. This is the hysteria is insane. Just start is it Joe Scarborough who said this nonsense? Let me hear it. Yeah, here's the article. There you go, a little button there. So, colloquialism. Thank you. I know how to say it, and I know, but anyway, colloquialism. Okay. So this is an article in the American Greatness that I was referenced, the other one that brought me over here. 20 minutes before President Trump announced Sunday afternoon on Twitter that Representative John Ratcliffe, Republican of Texas, would be his choice to replace Dan Coates as the National Director of Intelligence, the Democrat attack machine was already in action. John Ratcliffe, by one measure, the second most conservative member of Congress, appears to believe that the Russia investigation was cooked up by Democrats who committed crimes. Now Trump reportedly is considering placing atop the U.S. intelligence community, tweeted we already read that. NBC News analyst Ken Dilanian, pejoratively known as Fusion Ken for his ties to the infamous opposition research shop, Fusion GPS, take note of Dilanian's scare quotes around committed crimes as if the whole thing was legit and not under criminal investigation by a U.S. attorney or a separate probe by the Justice Department Inspector General. Trump then confirmed the pick on Twitter, saying Ratcliffe will lead and inspire greatness for the country he loves. Ratcliffe, a member of both the House Intelligence and House Judiciary Committees, earned plaudits last week during the disastrous Robert Mueller hearings for his verbal vivisection of Mueller's claims about not exonerating Donald Trump on alleged obstruction of justice offenses. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were conclusive. Okay, we just saw that. So anyway, pointing out the president, like any other American, is entitled to a presumption of innocence. And I'll just leave that there. Of course, the left, leaving it immediately caused the left to brand Ratcliffe a Trump shill, lackey, and suck up. Oh, really? Now Trump's foes are, wait till we're going to get to Joe Scarborough again, though. Now Trump foes are using Ratcliffe's performance against him while lauding the work of Coates, who publicly made it clear in May that he intended to stonewall Trump's directive to declassify all documents related to the corrupt origins of the Obama administration's investigation into Trump's presidential campaign. Coates succeeded James Clapper, who very well could end up being indicted also, a known anti-Trump partisan who was a key player in concocting the bogus Russia collusion hoax in 2016. Attorney General Bill Barr is investigating the entire scandal, which includes any involvement by Clapper or his surrogates. The media and top Democrats, well, that's redundant, including Clapper's partner in collusion, former CIA Director John Brennan, immediately started bashing Ratcliffe on Twitter while commending Coates as a courageous straight shooter. All right, we already read Brennan's. Here's the one I wanted to read, though. It's down farther here. Well, there's a few others on here. Anyway, let's see, who's this? Oh, Adam Schiff. Coates has had the independence and strength to speak truth to power. Now, we've heard that phrase, haven't we? To speak truth to power, tweeted House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff. Senator Mark Warren, the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee that will preside over Ratcliffe's confirmation hearings, tweeted that the mission of the intelligence community is to speak truth to power. Oh, where have we heard that before? As Dan Coates stayed true to that mission. CNN contributors Garrett Gaff mocked Ratcliffe while lauding his CNN colleague. Before becoming DNI, Jim Clapper had worked in U.S. intelligence for nearly 50 years and personally headed 2 of the nation's 17 intel agencies. By comparison, John Ratcliffe was the mayor of Heath, Texas, population 8,000. Wow! Shots fired. Yeah. So let me translate that for you. Let me translate what Garrett Gaff just said. Before becoming Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper was thoroughly ensconced within the swamp and probably has some gills that have developed over that time. Whereas John Ratcliffe has fresh eyes. That's a translation. All right, increasingly and here comes now Joe Scarborough. This is, these people are so unhinged. It's incredibly. The increasingly unstable Joe Scarborough, host of MSNBC's Morning Joe, offered some public relations advice to those seeking to tank Ratcliffe's nomination. This is Joe Scarborough's advice. Quote, just start calling Ratcliffe a fascist, Scarborough suggested on Monday Morning Show, and call him a fascist throughout this entire process. Call him a fascist for the rest of his career until this fascist apologizes to capitalists who are Democrats who he has mislabeled. Apparently, Joe Scarborough wasn't pleased with the Democrats and socialists on the other side of the aisle comment during the Mueller hearings. Label him a fascist. You know, it's amazing to me how that word has become so popular in the lexicon of the current left. At first I thought it was just the, way out there progressive left. But it's amazing how they see fascists under every rock, under every blanket, in every corner. Everyone's a fascist. If you don't agree with them, if you do not do what they say, do what I say, or you're a fascist. Amazing. Washington Post columnist Paul Waldman insisted that the, quote, ultra-conservative Ratcliffe would make Russian interference in the next election more likely. Waldman's perpetually hysterical colleague, Never Trumper Max Boot, claimed that Ratcliffe has no qualifications in the intelligence field, but he does have a history of slavish loyalty to Trump, as he demonstrated by berating and maligning special counsel Robert S. Mueller III during the House Judiciary Committee's hearing last week. Everything he said, every question he asked, everything he did in that hearing was 100% correct. What did he... I want to know what these people think he said was wrong. It was a very, very specific point that anyone in the nation, in any kind of investigation, is innocent until proven guilty. And if you didn't make a charging decision, that's not your job that you didn't make a charging decision. Good God, these people are nuts. Anyway, there's a few more, but I'm going to skip it for now. So how are we doing, folks? We hanging in there? I know some of you have to get in and out, but I understand. That's cool. Let's see. What do we got here? I have, now there is one article that I do want to just highlight, and it's just amazing to me. And I don't even know. Let's see. Yeah, I already read that one. Maybe I'll just give you the gist of it. Maybe we'll get into it deeper tomorrow. But apparently so the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, it's they're people who do campaigns, whatever. They're facing a mass staff upheaval after uproar over diversity. This is fascinating to me. The departure comes as Chairwoman Sherry Bustos faces accusations that she has done little to address the lack of diversity in the upper ranks of the campaign arm. Oh, Duck Deuce, come on now. Oh, just for the news. The top echelon of staffers at the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee left their jobs Monday, a shakeup following a pair of Politico stories detailing deep unease with the party's campaign apparatus over lack of diversity. On Monday morning, Allison Jaslow, DCCC Executive Director, and a close ally of Representative Sherry Bustos, Democrat Illinois, chair of the committee, resigned during a tense meeting at the party's Capitol Hill headquarters. And in the next 10 hours, much of the senior staff was out. Jared Smith, the communications director, and another Bustos ally, Melissa Miller, a top DCCC communications aide, Molly Rittner, political director, Nick Pancrazio, deputy executive director, and Van Ornelas, the DCCC's director of diversity. Fascinating. Jackie Newman, the chief operating officer of the campaign arm, will serve as interim executive director and facilitate the search for a permanent replacement, Busto said in a statement late Monday. Today has been a sobering day, filled with tough conversations that too often we avoid, Bustos said, but I can say confidently that we are taking the first step toward putting the DCCC back on a path to protect and expand our majority with a staff that truly reflects the diversity of our Democratic caucus and party. Rittner was one of two political directors at the DCCC. Corey Kozlowski, the other national political director, is still with the campaign arm, according to multiple sources. While most of the staff departures are effective immediately, Miller is expected to remain at DCCC temporarily to help transition a new communications team, according to the sources. So they kicked out all the white people. Oh my gosh. Political report last week, the top lawmakers in the Congressional Black Congress and Congressional Hispanic Caucus were furious with Busto, saying she was shortchanging minorities by excluding them from her senior staff and failing to live up to the promises she made during her campaign for the chairmanship. Busto surrounded herself with loyalist white people, eschewing the typical campaign hands that run the major party apparatuses. Today, I recognize that at times I've fallen short in leading these talented individuals. To my colleagues, who I have the utmost respect for, I hear your concerns and we can and must do better. So anyway, there were too many white people in the upper echelon of the campaign staff or something. So they kicked him out. They said, fuck you, get out. All right, real quick, let's get some Twitter trends and get the heck out of here because I got to go. So let's just see what's happening on the old Twitter thingy, mabobber. Oh, by the way, I have some thank yous. Thank you to Necrosol, who tweeted out the old tweeted out the show today. Thank you so much again. I appreciate that. Also, thank you Rolling Bear and Sarah. And I think that's everybody who shared this today. Thank you so much. By the way, this is kind of weird. So it was on Twitter, so I'm going to talk about it. So I saw this thing. Okay, CNN boss hosted power breakfast for Kamala Harris before Senate victory. Whatever, I don't care. But here is something interesting. And I never saw before, and I want to show it to you. Notice right here, Senator Harris campaign themes. Medicare for all. Middle class tax cut. Now I'm going to stop right there. Wait, whoa. Medicare for all and a middle class tax cut? How the hell are you going to do that? You want to have universal health care, but tax cut for the largest, the most expansive group of taxpayers there are? Because there's not that many rich people. I don't care what these people say. The Democrats seem to think that... Oops, I almost pulled my headphones out. Democrats seem to think that you can tax the upper top 10% enough to pay for all the shit that we do in this country. Do you know that if you took the entire wealth, not just their income, but if you took the entire wealth of the top 5% of wealthy people in the United States, I think you could only run the country for 5 days. They think they're going to be able to tax. Now, think of all the things that Democrats are promising. They're promising free health care. Okay? They're promising free college. They're promising to forgive all student loans. What else? There's all kinds. Some of them are promising reparations, not just for black people, but for gay people who are married, they're going to want Kamala Harris is talking about giving tax refund to gay couples retroactively. But then she has the words middle class tax cut on here. That ain't happening. If you try to do all that stuff, none of this shit will get paid for. It's insanity. Just thought. Okay, let's get. That's not okay. Now let's get back to Twitter. All right, so real quick, because I got to get. Like I said, I got to get out of here. What's trending today on Twitter? Good Lord. All right, here we go. Number one today, Tuesday thoughts. Now everyone's busted on Mitch McConnell today. Now I'm going to get into that. When Mitch McConnell says Democratic obstruction into the mirror 3 times, Merrick Garland appears. Oh yeah, they're still salty about Merrick Garland. Can't do anything about it. Everyone's bitching at Mitch McConnell right now because he's blocking a bill that has to do with election security, and that's it. That's the talking point about this. Okay. And in fact, let's see Ted Lieu down here. Well, I don't care about Ted Lieu. To hell with Ted Lieu. Oh, this is Ted Lieu's thought of the day. Ted Lieu's genius. In less than 3 minutes, you can watch the special counsel Robert Mueller's confirm the facts that established the first crime of obstruction of justice by prominent Donald Trump. For those into optics, this video also has cool graphics and music. Oh, you see, now these are all the people who are trying to get whatever. Fuck that shit. Let's find one good motivation. There you go. Wins. That's ortho. Sorry, did I break anybody's eardrum doing that? Okay, busy is a choice. Stress is a choice. Joy is a choice. Choose well. Hey, you know what? Take a break. Yeah, every once in a while you got to take a break. You got to rejuvenate. You got to. I don't know. Sometimes you got to just keep moving too. But yeah, busy is a choice. Stress is a choice. Joy is a choice. Choose joy. Choose joy. And I'm not talking about Joy Reid. All right, enough of that. Enough of nonsense. Number 2 trending is Moscow McTreason. So Senator McConnell refers to okay, so people have been calling him Moscow Mitch. Now he's saying that the calls of Moscow Mitch is modern day McCarthyism. McConnell took to the Senate floor Monday to defend his record and address the way certain media outlets have characterized him after blocking election security legislation. And here's Mitch McConnell. I spoke on the Senate floor today about my extensive record of standing up to Russia, election security, and why we won't let some Democrats exploit this crisis to push unrelated partisan priorities that have been on their wish list long before 2016. Now, one of the reasons he's blocking this bill is there's a bunch of crap in the bill that he thinks are what's known as poison pills. They specifically wrote this so that it would not pass. And then the Democrats in the House can pass it because they have a majority and you can't stop them from passing shit. I don't like McConnell either, but I'm not going to, I'm going to listen to what he says on this one. So now, here we are in 2019 again, and Putin and the Russians seek to provoke fear and division in our country, to undermine faith in our institutions, to exacerbate public differences until we tear ourselves apart. And once again, it seems there are some who blindly take the bait. American pundits calling an American official treasonous because of a policy disagreement, if anything, is an asset to the Russians. It's disgusting behavior like that. Now, part of it here, let's see. Where is it here? Well, anyway, there's a bunch of stuff in the bill that he objects to, and so it's easy. It's easy for them to make him the scapegoat for not pushing this bill. But there's a bunch of crap in it. It's like, when they put a bunch of extra stuff in a bill that they really don't need. So anyway, everyone's calling him Moscow Mitch or whatever. Let's see here.
There is something I need to address.
Here, let's hear some minute
I'd like to welcome all members back to the Senate for a busy week. But first, there is something I need to address. Over the last several days, I was called unpatriotic, un-American, and essentially treasonous by a couple of left-wing pundits on the basis of bold-faced lies. I was accused of aiding and abetting the very man I've singled out as an adversary and opposed for nearly 20 years, Vladimir Putin. This is the state, Mr. President, of left-wing politics in 2019. It's like an inflationary crisis, but with outrage instead of dollars. These people have worn out the volume knobs so badly that they have nothing left but the most unhinged smears. Welcome to modern-day McCarthyism. McCarthy-like tactics out in the open for everyone to see.
All right, so it is kind of, I mean, this whole Russian thing is, it really is, man. And again, the Mueller report was written to stoke those fears even more. Sustained and whatever effort to interfere in our elections, whatever. Couple things here. Have not seen McConnell this angry in public in some time. Now on the floor defending his decision to block election security bills last week when Dees tried to bring it up by unanimous consent. Yeah, that's the other thing. They wanted to pass it with unanimous consent without even going through with the crap that's in the bill that needs to be removed. Here's from Time. Okay, hang on. Why Mueller? Why is this? No, never mind. That's not the right thing. Speaking of on the Senate floor, Senator McConnell calls critics accusing him of being a Russian asset and traitorous for blocking election security bills, hyperventilating hacks, and engaging in modern-day McCarthyism. McConnell vows that he won't let Democrats and their water carriers in the media use the election security measures he is blocking as a Trojan horse for a partisan wish list. Of course, some of the bills are bipartisan. So let's see. Most of these are about him. So anyway, yeah, and then of course Chuck Schumer. Mitch McConnell gave a speech earlier today on the Senate floor to express his frustration at being accused of blocking election security legislation. Here's an easy way to stop being accused of blocking election security. Stop blocking it. Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason. Okay? Why don't you find out, instead of being demagogues, why don't you address the actual reasons he's blocking the bill? But anyway, enough about McConnell. Number 3, Hero. This is something to do with gaming, I think. Yep, Nintendo of America. Get ready, fighters. The Dragon Crest Hero will arrive at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate later today. So, okay, if you're into that, there you go. Number 4, Moscow Mitch, same thing. Number 5, Moscow Mitch, un-American traitor, same thing. They're pushing these bad boys out there. Tuesday Motivation is number 6. Obama and Biden. Why are Obama and Biden trending? When you wake up and see why Obama and Biden are trending, we have some of the dumbest people on earth running our government. Okay. Someone should tell this dumbass Obama and Biden weren't even presidents when 9/11 happened. Okay. GOP rallies around Trump 9/11 roll. While Obama and Biden were covering a fear on Air Force One, Mr. Trump was on the ground with first responders searching for survivors, pulling people to safety. Jim Jordan says, I remember seeing him on TV running toward the danger. Jim Jordan didn't say that. But the fact that people have, some dumbass said something about Obama and Biden. Okay, that's dumb. So if someone said that, that's fucking stupid. So there's somebody stupid. That's why Obama and Biden trending. All right, next. Sakurai, don't care. The Lighthouse trending with Robert Eggers. Is that the dude? The Robert Eggers, isn't he the actor that played Freddy Krueger? Behold, the first official poster for Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. Okay. Okay, some movie coming out. I'm not going to go into that. Jamestown. Oh, okay. Trump is going to actually be a part of the historical celebration at Jamestown. We were wondering if that was going to happen. I think he was kind of balking on that. I'm not sure. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this celebration at Jamestown. Because what they're doing is Jamestown, Virginia, is having a celebration commemorating 400-year anniversary of Jamestown. Now, I can almost guarantee, now before I even read what Joy frickin' Reid says, somewhere in this line of tweet thoughts is going to talk about slavery in Jamestown. I guarantee it. It just, I have no doubt in my mind. Click in Jamestown right now. Heading to Jamestown, Virginia, word is that Democrats will make it as uncomfortable as possible, but that's okay because today is not about them. Okay, interesting. That's Donald Trump. Oh, Robert Egglet. Who the fuck is Freddie? Okay, whatever. My bad. Thank you, Piccolo. Joy Reid. Now, it's funny because, so she's got to put the word black in here. Trump continues attacking Baltimore as black lawmakers boycott Jamestown's ceremony. Virginia's black lawmakers are going to boycott Trump at Jamestown ceremony. Interesting. Am I going to be able to read this? Probably not. Oh, maybe I haven't read any New York Times articles this month. Nope, I can't. All right, I can't. I don't care. Whatever. So apparently the black lawmakers in Virginia are going to boycott this celebration in Jamestown. Okay. I couldn't even get past this headline without remembering that the Democrat governor of Virginia literally wore blackface and is still the leader of the Democratic Party in Virginia. So the black lawmakers are boycotting Trump, but not the Senate. Isn't that so true? Yeah, your governor, what happened to him in that blackface thing? Oh, no cancel culture for the governor of Virginia. Hilarious. What else? The thing that inspired me, well, okay, that's not it. My favorite side from today is Trump protest in Jamestown today. I can smell Trump from here. No more racism. Stop, whatever. Okay, so they're protesting the Donald Trump today in Jamestown. Virginia's black state lawmakers to boycott Jamestown event over Trump's presence. Well, you know what? Every time, this is the thing. And I tell people, I say this all the time. When I said this when what's-her-face, Megan Rapinoe, said that if Trump invited the soccer team to the White House, she would not go. Why would you pass up an opportunity to talk with the most powerful person in the world, in theory, in reality, especially if you have a disagreement with them? Why would you pass up that opportunity? Your opportunity to talk to someone you disagree with about something that you're passionate about. You actually would pass up that opportunity? You got to be kidding me. And you know what? This whole racism thing, they're beating the racism drum because they have nothing else. Okay, stay away from the celebration. You think Trump cares if you show up? Reverend Dr. Chuck Curry, white lawmakers that do not join their black colleagues in boycotting Donald Trump's Jamestown speech are making it very clear where they stand on racism. You don't do as I say. You too, baby. You too. You're canceled too. Biatch! Good God. Virginia's black lawmakers, that's New York Times again. Right now, protesters gathered outside Jamestown's beach event park as they wait for real Donald Trump to arrive at Jamestown's settlement. Okay. Virginia's black state. Okay, and this is the Washington Post. Just saying they're boycotting again. This is from the Washington Post. On this day, there it is, Governor Ralph Northam. Governor Blackface himself speaking at the event.
This church stands on the foundations of the one in which they met. Like today,
Governor Blackface.
it was hot. It was humid. For 6 days, they sweated out the details of what would become our first representative government.
Okay, I'm not going to listen to this. We don't have time. That's hilarious, though. That's hilarious. It's like Governor Blackface. They why aren't they there protesting Governor Blackface? Wasn't Jamestown also where the first American slaves came to the United States? I'm pretty sure that's it. A racist never says he's a racist, like a madman never says he's mad. Of which Donald Trump is both. The bigger story is that black lawmakers from Virginia are boycotting his appearance in Jamestown today. You know what? No, that's not how you do it. If you're a black lawmaker from Virginia, you absolutely go to that event and you go up and talk to Donald Trump and maybe try to understand or try to even convince him that maybe something he's doing wrong. You don't boycott. Never pass up the opportunity to talk to somebody in power, even if you don't agree with them or you don't like them. Never pass up that opportunity. That, you know what? And as much as I think Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are weird, if they had passed up the opportunities or to talk to Donald Trump, would there be people getting out of jail today because of their efforts? People have been pardoned and things like that? No. And I guarantee you they don't share politics with Donald Trump. They, well, maybe Kanye does. I don't know. Kim Kardashian. Why would she? It's you. Why boycott these types of things, especially if you're a lawmaker in a state like that? But I'm still laughing. They're not boycotting Northam, the governor. Governor Blackface. Governor Blackface is there. President Trump arrives at historic Jamestown settlement and takes a walking tour of James Fort replica. President Donald Trump is on the ground in Jamestown to deliver a historic speech. More than 200 people are at Jamestown Beach. A whole 200 people are protesting? Wow, that's just overwhelming. All right, enough of Jamestown. Moving on, Mississippi Walmart. 2 people confirmed dead in Mississippi Walmart shooting. Oh, man, this is sad. 2 people confirmed dead. At least 2 people were dead and an officer was hurt after a shooting at a Walmart in northwestern Mississippi. Let's see if there's an article. There is a CNN article. A shooting at a Mississippi Walmart left 2 people dead and an officer wounded and the community in shock. Gunfire broke out Tuesday morning at a store in South Haven, the 3rd largest city in Mississippi. Carlos Odom was walking out of the store when I heard a bunch of gunshots. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. More than a dozen shots, Odom told CNN. I just thought, ran in my car. It's crazy. The world is crazy now today. Both the suspect and an officer who responded to the scene were shot and being treated at local hospitals. Huh? Oh, 2 people dead. Both the suspect and an officer were also shot. Okay. The stricken officer was wearing a bulletproof vest and is doing fine. A representative from Baptist Memorial Medical Center said the condition of the suspect at Region 1 Trauma Center was not immediately known. The name of the 2 victims killed have not been released, and the motive for the shooting remains a mystery. So, again, here's the problem. So this is I'm not sure why this is on a CNN. I think that it's a local story that's on national news on CNN, and it's trending on Twitter. That's fascinating to me. Some of the problems that we see is because everything makes national news now if it fits the agenda. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to predict it. I'm going to write down a prediction about that and see if it comes true. Not even going to say it. No, I'm going to say it out loud. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm thinking. I bet you know what I'm thinking, though. I bet you know what I'm thinking. In fact, you can put what you think I'm thinking in the chat. It's related to whether or not it's going to be continued to be publicized or not. That's all there is to it. All right, let's just see if there's anything interesting and we're going to move on. So Breland, I don't know what that is. Carlos Kunz, that's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Carlos Kunitz retires from the NHL. Tuesday morning, International Day of Friendship. The last thing on Twitter today is International Day of Friendship. I'm gonna go out with something positive here. All right, let's go out with something positive. All right, happy International Day of Friendship. Let's all be a friend to someone in need of one today. So that's kind of cute. The monkeys having the hug there. International Day of Friendship. These are just some of the best friends I have in my life. You guys are the kindest souls ever. I'm grateful to know you all. Thank you for always being there for me through everything. I appreciate you all so much. So these are kind of nice messages. Happy International Day of Friendship. Be nice, tweeps. It costs nothing. And okay, so yeah. International Day of Friendship. From all of us here at Yes Futures. Tell a friend you appreciate them. That's a great idea. You know what? Hey, let your friends, let your family, let everyone that you appreciate know that you appreciate them. And you know what? On that note, I really appreciate all of you who come and listen to me babble away for a couple hours every day, or hour and 40 minutes, or whatever I do on any given day. I really do appreciate you guys. It's fascinating to me that people will listen to me for this long, but hopefully I keep it entertaining and hope that you enjoy it. And I hope you all appreciate each other too, because I know a lot of you build relationships through the chat with the people that you have back and forth with. And so I think on International Friendship Day, or International Day of Friendship, let someone know that you appreciate them. And on that note, thank you for being here. Of course, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT. And that's for the people who in other parts of the world. And thanks for being here. If you haven't already done it, on your way out, hit the share button, hit the like button. And in the future, you can always help us out with super chats and or donations through the Streamlabs link down below. So on that note, it's time for me to call it a day. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Goodbye. Let someone know that you appreciate them. Take it easy. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.